You guys hear the thunder? Mother Nature be farting. I know you guys are excited for this video, because today we're gonna make two Canadians fight to the death. How would Canadians even do that? Would they just like polite each other to death? What's up guys? DenDenBMX here, and today we are gonna be comparing the version 1 and the version 2 of the BBFIREFLY from BBBARFLY. Yeah, that's all today's video is gonna be. We're just gonna sit back and compare these two balisongs and see what kind of upgrades have been made from the version 1 to the version 2 of the BBFIREFLY. We're gonna flip both of them and see how different they flip from each other. They made some pretty significant changes, both in the weight distribution and in the grip ability. You know, like which one got that better gorilla grip? Oh God, who lets me talk? You're not funny, Denny. But yeah, that's all this video is gonna be. Just a nice, relaxing, generic YouTube comparison of two objects that fit into this specific YouTube channel's niche. Nothing else. Just putting two balisongs, nuts to butts, tip to tip, make them cross swords, and see which one comes out on top. I really don't know why anyone else would have clicked on this video. It's not like we're choosing anything in it. I'm just twisting your big fat tits. Of course, I'm just kidding. At the end of today's video, we're gonna see which lucky feller or fellette is going to win this BBFIREFLY V2. This is Ron. He's afraid of everything, but especially afraid of thunder. That's why he's got on his thunder shirt, because he's afraid of the thunder. So this is the version 1. As long as you're not colorblind, you'll be able to see that this is blue. So when you see the blue balisong, that's the version 1. And now this one, the purple one, is the version 2. So whenever you see the purple one, this is the version 2. Also, my particular BBFIREFLYs have different blades, and that does affect the weight distribution on these. But luckily, the BBFIREFLY that we're giving away has the same blade as the version 1, so we can still do like a real direct comparison. Is there anything you want to say, Ron? He's too scared. I'll say it for him. These are Ron's words, not mine. I would really appreciate it if you guys would leave a like on this video and leave a comment and share the video around, and make sure you subscribe to my dad's channel and hit the bell notification, because I'm really scared. If you don't do it, I'm gonna shit myself, which costs a lot of money in cleanup equipment. So you also better buy the join membership. Tiers start as low as $3 and you get exclusive videos you wouldn't otherwise get to see. Shout out to the current channel members. They do give me some bravery, but not a lot. Maybe if there were more channel members, I would be more brave. But joining the channel membership is a big commitment. It's like adopting an afraid chihuahua. If you don't want to make that commitment, you could also just hit the super thanks button. That would give me some courage as well. Anything helps. Look at how afraid I am. Bro, you be stinky.
Buddy, you think you look strong? You're just a cheap fucking knockoff.
Oh no. I'm the upgrade.
Alright, so how this deeply intimate and sexual battle is going to go down is we are going to take an up-close look at both of these balisongs and examine the changes that have been made from the V1 to the V2. And then after that, we will start flipping these things, and I will do my best to try and transcribe what the flipping differences are between the two. And then after that, we'll decide a winner if the version 1 is still the dominant balisong, or if the V2 has made significant enough upgrades to where this one is more gooder than the firstest one. This is what happens when I don't write a script for a video. I just turn into a fucking idiot. And then to wrap up the video, we will pick who the winner of the Firefly V2 giveaway is going to be. Did I say that right? I can't talk today. Alright, ladies and genitals, so here is the BBFIREFLY version 1, and then here is the BBFIREFLY version 2, and then here's the version 2 that we will be giving away at the end of this video. Actually, I think there's enough room to where we can open these. So these two Fireflies are mine. This is the one we're giving away, but these two are the ones that are more similar, but I don't really want to flip this one a whole lot. I want to keep this one in like as good as condition as possible for the giveaway. So for most of the flipping, we're going to be comparing these two. So all three of these balisongs have 6061 aluminum handles that are sandblasted and anodized. And as you can see, based off this, you can get them anodized in a bevy of colors. All these colors, green, gold, black, red, you name it, they probably have it. The overall length of these balisongs are 9.8 inches. All three of the blades are 410 stainless steel that's been heat treated, precision ground, and polished. The pivots are hardened steel with hand-tuned bushings. Now for the washers, I believe the version 1 just uses some steel, but for the version 2, I know that they switched to the industry standard of bronze phosphorus washers. Now, according to BBBARFLY's website, the weight of the BBFIREFLY version 2 is 4.3 ounces. Now, when I'm flipping these, I can already tell that the version 1 is a bit heavier, so I'm not sure how much heavier it is. I'd go to say like 4.5 ounces, maybe even a little bit more than that. It is a bit heavier. That's because there's a lot more material on the version 1 handles than there are on the version 2, as you can just see right here. As you can see, my original BBFIREFLY has the Talon blade. The Firefly V2 that we're giving away also has the Talon blade, and then my personal version 2 Firefly has the KS blade. Now that we've gone through the specs, let's just look at these handles and see what differences have been made. So we got the Firefly V2 on top, we got the version 1 on the bottom. So this is how the BB Firefly was originally released, with some pretty solid handles with only a few cutouts here up at the top. And as you can see, some changes have been made on the version 2 handles. So the version 1 of the Firefly was very well regarded as BB Firefly's best product yet, but there were still a few gripes about them, mainly being that they were a little heavy and that they were kind of slippery. There wasn't a whole lot of grip on these handles, because if you've never flipped an aluminum balisong in your life, you probably don't know that it's like easily the slipperiest handle material out there. And a lot of makers are finally getting to a point where they realize that, and they're trying to resolve those issues. So they'll do things like adding jimping or just more milling lines or just adding a texture onto the handle. And while BBBARFLY is clearly one of the people that has focused on that issue, it's not the first issue he focused on. There was a sort of pre-version of the Firefly V2 that didn't have any of the milling on the sides of the handles that you can see here, and instead the big change that he decided to make was to try and make the Firefly a little bit lighter and maybe a little bit more evenly balanced. And what Serge over at BBBARFLY decided to do, where this big dip is carved in, he just decided to add 2 more holes. And then he released a photo of the V2 to the world, and the reception was really great. A lot of people were excited for this change, but they also wanted one more change. A lot of people were saying that he should add jimping to the sides of the handles to add grip, and about 3 hours later he had designed, tested, and installed jimping onto the Firefly V2, and then released the perfected version of the Firefly V2. But he didn't even stop there, because a few weeks later he decided, I think I'm going to add a little bit more, and he added 2 more milling lines onto the majority of the side of the handle. So I think we're done being a little too up close and personal. So let's go adjust the cameras and start flipping these things so I can tell you guys the differences that I can feel while I'm physically flipping the balisongs. Let's do the sound test for each individual balisong. Here's the sound test for the version 1 of the BB Firefly. And now here's the sound test for the version 2 of the BB Firefly. So as you can hear, there is a difference in the sound between the two, and that has to do with the cutouts that are on the V2 versus which ones that aren't on the V1, which is why the V1 has a little bit more of a deeper, not really muffled sound, but like I would call it like a muffled or muted sound, even though it's not quieter. And it's just because there's not as many holes for the sound to escape on the version 1, and it's more of a solid aluminum channel handle. The version 2 has a lot more cutouts in it, which is what would create the sound difference. I think both of them sound awesome. And now when I got the version 2 of the Firefly, I kind of stopped flipping this one as much, the version 1. And I know just a second ago in the up-close comparison, we were kind of talking a lot about the flaws of the version 1. But don't get it twisted, this thing is still a damn good flipper. It's better than a lot of other aluminum balisongs that I've flipped. My only 2 real gripes with it were that just that it's a little bit slippery on the sides of the handle, and that the handle bias on it was just enough to where it kind of messed with some tricks, particularly fans. Obviously, as you can see, it still can do fans, but I feel like the fans on this are just a little bit more forced. So it just kind of makes things like choker fans a little weird. Like sometimes it feels like you really gotta like force it around. But also for other things like ladders, it feels really good. And then it doesn't really affect aerials at all. They're still really easy to time. This thing is still a damn good flipper. All right, now let's look at the version 2. Right away, I can already feel how much lighter it is because of the cutouts. And you would think those cutouts would make it a lot more neutral, but it's actually still got a little bit of a handle bias to it, which I really like. I do enjoy it being a little handle bias. I think that helps with a lot of my tricks. Or at least neutral, but the majority of the weight is at the ends of the handles, which is how I think this balisong is, because on the KS blade, there's all this material up here, and then there's still the big solid chunk of aluminum at the end of these handles, even with the cutouts. And as you can hear, the sound of this one is a little lighter and is a little more ringy, and that's just because of the added holes. And I really like the sound of this one. I really like how particularly nutty this balisong is. I don't know, this one's just extra bouncy. And then of course, the added milling on the sides of the handles really does help with grip a whole lot. Before I flipped this balisong, I was kind of the opinion that I didn't really like aluminum handled balisongs just because I hadn't flipped one that wasn't slippery and it was kind of starting to annoy me. But this balisong proved to me that aluminum can be just as grippy as titanium or G10 if you put something actually into the handle and don't just leave it flat. Put some jimping or some kind of milling or even some sort of texture on it, and it's going to improve the grip on it a whole lot. So from now on, when a company makes an aluminum channel handled balisong, I'm kind of just going to expect them to have the standard grip and whatever design they use on the face of the handles, but I'm also going to start expecting them to put jimping or some sort of texture or something on the sides of the handle as well so that the sides can grip as well. And if they don't do that, I'm going to be pretty disappointed because then it's going to be slippery and I'm not really going to like it. So that'll be kind of like the little base flipping overview for both balisongs. So now I'm going to start kind of going back and forth between them so I can like kind of explain the differences a little bit more. Like, yeah, there is a weight balance difference. The V2 is a little bit more neutral and the V1 is a little bit more handle bias, but it still doesn't feel like that crazy of a difference. And what I think that may have something to do with is the different blades that are on my two personal Fireflies. I think the Talon blade is a little bit heavier than the KS blade, and I think that kind of evens out the balance on both of them to make them a little bit more similar. So while there is a balance difference, I feel like the two blades that these specific Fireflies have kind of make that difference a little less intense. Oh, get fucked, I did it. Yeah, I definitely feel like this one has like a little bit more momentum in the aerial department, but it's not like the version 2 doesn't have momentum. Let's go to like fans. I feel like the V2 definitely does fans a little bit better. Like regular fans, I don't know. It's like it wants to stop doing the fan after so long. And then with the lighter weight and the added jimping, I really feel that makes the V2 much better in the choker fan department. Like choker fans definitely feel easier on the V2 than they do on the V1. Since the version 1 doesn't have the jimping, you kind of have to make sure you're gripping it a little bit harder. But with the jimping on the V2, your finger just kind of digs into it and it makes it a whole lot easier for you to grip it. Same with like just rollovers and stuff too. I feel like that's usually when it flies out of my hands, or something like ladders. Like I kind of have to like make sure I'm gripping the balisong a little more with my fingers. But with the jimping on the V2, my hands like dig in a little bit easier and I don't have to grip as hard. That being said, I think I like this weight distribution for ladders more than I like this one. On Chaplains, this one Chaplains really well. It locks in really easy. Bitch! And then Chaplains on the V1. These lock in pretty good too. I feel like this one maybe kind of wants to fly off my finger a little bit more than the V2. Scissors. Feel pretty good on both of them if I'm being honest. Try the other dumb forward scissor I used to do. Yeah, scissors I'd say feel about the same on both of them. I like the way scissors feel on both of these. Rollovers and stuff like that, they're pretty consistent on both. It's not really like they're harder to do on one than the other. They both carry the momentum of the rollover pretty easily. Parabolics are pretty good, I think, on both of them. Yeah, they don't... It's not like one is spazzing out in the air more than the other, because that can happen with a lot of balisongs. Let's grab the V2 that we're giving away that has the same blade as the V1 and see if there's any other differences that I can notice. I think this one is maybe just a tad bit heavier than the other V2, but not by much at all. What I really think the Talon blade does for the V2 is make it a lot more neutral. Like I was saying, with my V2, since it has the KS blade, I feel like it's a little bit more neutral, but still handle biased. I feel like this is a lot more neutral. That being said, this one still feels awesome as well. It also feels really great to flip. Yeah, Chaplains on this one lock in too. Scissors feel great on it. And then aerials are still really easy to time. And the parabolics feel good. Last thing we'll try is my newest trick that I've learned, the Z choker. So it feels really good on the version 2. And on the V1, it feels just as good. So after flipping these and taking a few minutes to flip them both back and forth, the V1 is a lot more competitive with the V2 than I thought. Now, I still think the improvements on the V2, such as the added jimping and the extra holes in the handles, I prefer that. I think the biggest difference between the two that makes the version 2 better than the version 1 is the grip on the sides. I really feel like that is the biggest upgrade. Now, here's the part of the video where I embarrass the living shit out of myself by trying to flip doubles. Oh. Fuck. Oh. That's a little bit better, I think. Oh, I almost had it. Oh, fuck me in the balls. Oh, I did it. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Leave a like. Well, consider my titties twisted, boys and girls. This went way different than I thought it would. Now, I was kind of expecting a Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey type beat. I thought the V2 was just gonna like absolutely beat the brakes off of the V1. And I thought it was gonna be like Obi-Wan versus Vader in episode 3. But it ended up being a lot more like Obi-Wan versus Vader in episode 6. And I think a lot of that has to do with me kind of totally ignoring the Firefly V1 once I got the Firefly V2. And I kind of forgot how much I still really liked the Firefly V1. Really, the only thing that I don't like about the V1 is just that the back of the handles are slippery. Besides being kind of weird about one or two tricks and it being a little bit heavier, I think it still can compete pretty well with the upgraded V2. That being said, the V2 is supposed to be an upgrade to the V1, which it definitely is. The added grip really does make a huge difference, and then the changes in the weight distribution I think make it a little bit more of a palatable balisong for most other people. Because for the Firefly V1, while it's okay for me, I think it may be a little too handle biased for some people, but the V2 goes for a more neutral type of balance, which I think more people are into. Also with BB Fireflies with the KS blade, you can do this. I bet you didn't know that. How about them apples? But yeah, just like Dr. Mike versus iDubbbz, this was a surprisingly good battle, but I think the changes on the V2 do improve it and make it a better balisong than the version 1. However, if you do have a version 1 of the BBBARFLY, it's definitely not like you have a bad balisong or anything like that. It's not like this is a Seraph and this is a CSGO balisong. So overall, I think the version 2 of the BB Firefly is a great improvement of the version 1, which was already a great platform, because Surge and everyone else at BB Barfly really can't seem to stop one-upping themselves. So that is going to wrap up the comparison. Now's the part of the video that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, where we decide the winner of the Firefly V2. And if you just clicked on this video and skipped over to this part, you're a fucking dick. You guys can go suck on a butt. But yeah, okay, we're gonna pick a winner. Let's cut over to that now. All right, everybody, pucker your butt. We are going to pick the winner. I am pasting the post into the random comment generator from WASC. Let's see how this do. All right, number of minimum mentions are 2. Number of winners. Here we go. We're gonna figure out a winner right now. The winner is Sneaky Beans 360. That's a funny name. So a big congratulations to Sneaky Beans 360. It's a great name. I believe you did everything you needed to do to properly enter the giveaway. I will be getting in contact with you soon, my friend, because you have won the BB Firefly version 2. Everybody who entered, go give him a congratulatory follow, and so we can all see him get his first clip with the Firefly version 2. A big thank you to everyone for entering the giveaway, and a huge shout out also to BB Barfly for giving me the opportunity to do this giveaway. Yeah, I want to do more balisong giveaways in the future. This one was pretty fun, and I look forward to doing more. Once again, congratulations, Sneaky Beans. I hope you enjoy your Firefly V2. I think that's going to wrap up this video, pitting these two brothers together and making them beat the piss out of each other. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know. Help support the channel by leaving a like, leave a comment on this video, share the video around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification if you haven't already, or else I swear to fucking God, I'll hit you with something way harder, like your mom's cock. And then, of course, if you really want to help support the channel, you can always join the channel membership or even hit the little super thanks button. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.